It's white clover season here in New England, and we use white clover for tea. Though we don't use it in our cold and flu tea, it's used to treat colds, coughs, fever, and even sometimes as an eye wash. A tincture of the leaves can be used as an ointment for gout, and some people say that white clover is also great for certain types of arthritis. So now keep in mind, you can also use the flowers and the leaves fresh in salads, but if you're allergic to clover, if you have any issues with blood clots or hypertension, or if you're planning on having surgery in the next few weeks, you want to stay away from the clover tea. Or clover in general. So there's a lot of other uses. Some people say it's great for different types of arthritis, like I said before, but always do your own research, look things up before you try anything, especially anything herbal, and if you're unsure, talk to your doctor before you use it. So now it's time to go pick some clover. So today's the perfect day before we get the lawn mowed to come out and pick our white clover. We're just going to be using the clover heads, but if I get some stems in there, I can always take them out later. So I guess it's time to get picking. So we've collected all the flowers from our clover, and we're ready to move on to getting them all cleaned up before we put them onto our dehydrator trays. Now, just to remind everybody, whenever you're collecting anything that you're going to be eating, making into a tea, whatever the case is, make sure you know that it is safe. So if you're out hiking or going for a walk and you're thinking about collecting something, you should really know if that has been sprayed with chemicals at all. Anything along the sides of roads is often sprayed to keep the weeds down, or even out in a forest where they're spraying for bugs. So everything that we've collected is from our own yard, so we know that it's all safe and fine, that there have been no chemicals sprayed on it. So we're going to be doing just the white clover for our tea. We also do collect purple clover, but that's a whole separate video, and we'll talk about that another time. So let me get these rinsed off, and then I will get them onto the tray. So we've got our clover flowers all rinsed off, and we're going to put them on our trays in the dehydrator. Now, one thing that I do in my Excalibur dehydrator is I have these non-stick mats that go onto the trays that we purchased. And I like to put one of these on the bottom tray in the dehydrator, so that if I do have any small pieces that fall through, because the mesh on the tray is pretty small, but when you have very fine things, it can slip through. So I put that on the bottom so that it does catch any of that. It makes it a lot easier cleaning out the dehydrator. So we're gonna put these, spread them out on the trays evenly so that they dry well. They are wet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these on our herb setting, which on this dehydrator happens to be 95 degrees. And I'm just gonna let them run overnight, and then I'm gonna check them again in the morning. So we let these dehydrate overnight, and it is another very hot and humid day today. So we want to get these transferred from the dehydrator into the jar as quickly as possible, and then seal it so we keep any moisture out. You don't want things moist going into the jar, or you might end up with things getting moldy, and then you've just got to throw the whole thing away. So as I've said before, when I'm doing dry goods, I like to use my old vintage jars, jars that were my mom's. Gotten new rubber seals for them, and I just love them for using for dry goods, and they look beautiful up on the shelf. So we're going to take out our dehydrated clover. We're going to get them off the trays and into the jars, and I'm using just my regular canning jar funnel, and then I will be right back. So the clover is all in jars. I was able to fill 2 jars with what we picked, and now it's all ready to go on the shelf. I did keep a little bit out, so I'm going to make myself a nice iced white clover tea with a little bit of honey. So I've got the jars of clover all put away and taking a few minutes to relax outside with my nice cold iced white clover tea, and it's perfect on this hot muggy day. So thank you for watching, and remember, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you know anybody else who might like to see the video, please share it, and remember, you can subscribe and ring that bell if you'd like to be notified when our next video is coming. Have a great day, everybody. Cheers.